Hi, I'm Ray Talabas II. This is another addition to my original series of cigar reviews, video cigar reviews. Today is a wonderful spring night. It's Thursday, April 4th, 2019, around 11:20 in the evening, Eastern Standard Time, in Baltimore, Maryland. Um, the cigar for this review is one of my all-time favorites. It's a wonderful, excellent cigar. Um, it's an Arturo Fuente product. Also, this review will be about kind of like for those who haven't been to Maryland or don't know too much about Maryland, my home state. It'll be like an introductory kind of like to Maryland. Um, Mostly concentrated on Baltimore, Maryland. I'm shooting from Baltimore, Maryland, specifically Timonium, Maryland, which is Baltimore County. So Baltimore County is part of Baltimore, Maryland. If you don't know, Baltimore is split up between Baltimore City and Baltimore County. So I live in Baltimore County, probably about 20 minutes away from the city itself. So it's a really great area that I live in. But the cigar for the review is one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites. It's an Arturo Fuente product. It's the Arturo Fuente work of art Maduro. Um, Wonderful steak. Kind of has similar flavors to the añejo. It's a wonderful shape too. I mean, as you can tell, it's a figurado. It's kind of like shaped like a thin pear. Has a nipple foot and a pointed tip like a torpedo. I want to say the dimensions for this cigar is about 5 inches by at the widest. At the foot of the Arturo Fuente, I want to say that's a 60 ring gauge. Particular components for this cigar. Wrapper is Cameroon wrapper, Maduro Cameroon wrapper, I believe. And the binder and filler are of Dominican origin. Yeah, so this will also be this review will also feature Maryland, my home state. I'll give you an idea of if you're new here or not particularly know too much about Maryland. Maryland is situated on the northeast coast of the United States of America. Bordering states are to the north Pennsylvania and to the south Florida. I mean, not Florida. To the south Virginia. And Delaware is close by on the East Coast. So those are the neighboring states of Maryland. Beautiful state, very small state, full of a lot of character. Has mountains, has a coastline, has farmland. It's a wonderful, wonderful state. In this edition of my cigar reviews, I'll be talking about Maryland, sights to see in Maryland, um, nightlife in Maryland, um, and sports teams of Maryland. We have a rich history in sports. Baltimore Ravens, Baltimore Colts, but previously, and the Baltimore Orioles, obviously. And since we're so closely located to Washington D.C., we've adopted the Washington Wizards basketball team and the Washington Capitals hockey team because we don't have those franchises in Maryland. The Washington Redskins, counties that are close to the D.C. area, have adopted the Redskins as their football team too, so I can't leave out the Redskins. I don't like them, but hey, man, I live in Baltimore County, so we're all about Baltimore Ravens. So anyway, that's the review. Is the Arturo Fuente work of art Maduro, um, Hemingway work of art Maduro. It's part of the Hemingway line. Um, Alcohol, the beverages tonight that'll be pairing with the cigar, agua, agua fina, water, It's 11:24 right now in the evening, so I'm drinking some coffee in my Maryland cup. I mean, you can tell I love Maryland. You can see the crab. Um, where's the Oreo? There's the Oreo. Fort McHenry's in there too. Wonderful coffee. And the alcoholic beverage tonight will be a special Japanese whiskey. Nika whiskey from the barrel, 51.4% alcohol by volume. Nika whiskey from the barrel from Nika Japanese Whiskey Company. Yep, that's the review. And like I said, it's Thursday, April 4th, 2019, around 11:25 in the evening in Baltimore, Maryland, Eastern Standard Time. Hoping you guys are having a wonderful week, wonderful day or night. Around the world, greetings. I hope everyone is well. And yeah, I wish well-being and peace for everybody, especially those who need it. All right, I'm gonna take a break, get a little bit more situated, and we'll get right back with you. All right, you guys take it easy. Ciao. Okay, hello, hola, ¿qué tal? How's everyone doing back there? We're back. I neglected to say the other alcohol component to this review. A special beer to me, my favorite IPA, coming out of Heavy Seas. Heavy Seas is a Baltimore brewing company out of Baltimore. Heavy Seas Americanin. It's a double dry hopped pale ale. It's a wonderful beer. Taste to me, it tastes like an IPA. It's very citrusy and very has a bitter component to it. Kind of malty, citrusy, very bright. IPAs are generally very bright in flavor. Um, just wonderful. Heavy Seas is my favorite brewing company. They make a lot of great ales. You might have heard of Heavy Seas, Loose Cannon, or Double Cannon. That's their most famous IPA. Like I said, Heavy Seas Brewing Company's out of Baltimore, Maryland. Heavy Seas. I mean, we're a port town. We have an inner harbor and a port in the port of Baltimore. So we're a very maritime kind of state, famous for blue crabs and Old Bay seasoning. Great Old Bay seasoning. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cigar review started. Like I said, the subject of this review is the Arturo Fuente Hemingway work of art Maduro, a rare cigar. You don't see these cigars very often. You don't see the work of art very often, and this is even more rare than the work of art. Figurados in general are harder to roll um, than straight-sided Parejo cigars. That's why they're more rare and more expensive. So I would imagine this stick was probably around. I bought a box of these, probably around $10 a stick over the internet. I mean, you want to check the internet. But that's I think that's what I paid for it. I mean, this particular stick came out of my collection of cigars, and it's probably about 3 or 4 years old by now. So well aged one day. That'll be good. Some nuttiness, sharp tobacco flavor. Like this cigar tends to have like similar characteristics to the añejo. Um, I mean Hemingways and añejos and opuses in general use very aged tobacco, so that's where the similarities start. Whether they use the same wrapper, I don't know. I know they're both Maduros. I know the añejos, the wrapper is aged in rum barrels for an extended period of time, many years. So, all right, and you can sell it. See, this is a nipple foot. Nipple foots are generally very easy to light. All right, easy as that. All right, let's see what this añejo gives us tonight. Like I said, it's right now it's 11:31 in the evening Eastern Standard Time in Baltimore, Maryland. Hemingway time. Not getting a good draw right now. I'm not really sure why. Very smooth. Like I said, it's like 3 or 4 years old, so it's got a good amount of age on it. I'm gonna go ahead because look, I said in an earlier review, figurados like this, especially those with a nipple tip, getting a straight burn line is not the first thing that happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and touch this up a little bit. All right. That first draw was really kind of like not very strong. So hopefully this draw straightens out. I mean that's one thing that I don't really like in a cigar if it has a poor draw. Um, it's a lot more work on the person if the draw is poor on a cigar, and you don't get the same kind of like flavor intensity and body intensity and strength intensity if the draw is not easy and kind of tight. So very smooth, very delicious, very refined. I don't remember the work of art Maduro being this refined and elegant. It's got a very thick body, but very smooth. Kind of muted flavors. That's why it's kind of elegant. A little bit of black coffee, nice tobacco, kind of not quite raisin, but something fruity in there. Very elegant and refined and very delicious so far. Lemony through the retro hail. A little bit of loose Americanin. Mm, just delicious. I mean, it's like 11:30 at night right now. That's probably why I'm a little bit kind of like my personality is a little bit muted right now. Don't want to wake anybody up. You know what I mean? It's 11:30 at night and I'm shooting outside, so I want to be a good neighbor. Wow. All right. The personality of the cigar just changed. I mean, I guess I was just smoking the nipple foot earlier, but that was spicy, rich tobacco flavor, black coffee, graphite, charcoal, and a thick, rich, thick body. I would say right now the body is full, the strength is full, and the flavor is kind of like medium full to full. Still a bit refined, but very delicious. Like I said, this is one of my all-time favorites. It's an all-time great to me. The Hemingway work of art Maduro. Just a wonderful, wonderful stick. This has got like 3 to 4 years age on it, maybe five. One of my all-time favorites, the work of Art Maduro, Hemingway work of Art Maduro. Just wonderful. Spicy. Nutty. There's a dark part of it, just like graphite and charcoal. Man, just absolutely delicious. Goes well with coffee. I'm drinking black coffee right now. I usually put a little bit of milk in my coffee, but we happen to run out of milk, so now I'm drinking black coffee, and it goes really well with the cigar. They share very similar flavors. There is black coffee in this too. Mostly because of the graphite and the charcoal. Kind of like mirrors the black coffee flavor of dark earth. Starbucks coffee. Spicy. Lemony through the retrohale. Very delicious. Just wonderful. I'm going to touch it up a little bit more. Alrighty. So let's talk about my home state of Maryland. Maryland is one of the smaller states in the USA, located on the Atlantic coast or East Coast. It's considered a southern state because it's south of the Mason-Dixon line, which is located. Pennsylvania is our neighboring state to the north, and the Mason-Dixon line is at the southern border of Pennsylvania. So we're south of the Mason-Dixon line, so Maryland is really considered the South. So we have Southern girls. I love the Maryland girls, Southern girls. We're the South, so a northern part of the South, but we're still the South. We're located between up from the north is Pennsylvania, and to the south is Virginia. I believe to our west is West Virginia. So, you know, some of the sites to visit in Maryland. Maryland has all kinds of like terrain, whether it be foothills and mountains, the coastal areas, and then the farmland and cities. We have all four seasons, um, true seasons of winter, spring, summer, and fall. Just a wonderful state. Not too many people know about it, but we're not like California or New York State or Florida or Georgia or Illinois or whatever. But we're a small state. But great things come out of small states sometimes. So if you visit Maryland, I suggest some sites to see. I mean, I think the first place you should go is the Inner Harbor. That's part of the Baltimore the harbor of Baltimore is the Inner Harbor, is the innermost part of the harbor. Inner Harbor has two pavilions, the Pratt Street Pavilion and the Light Street Pavilion. Has retails and restaurants, wonderful restaurants like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and there's a lot of other great restaurants in that area. Also in the Inner Harbor is the National Aquarium. It used to be the largest aquarium in America. A great aquarium, beautiful, beautiful. I suggest you visit the National Aquarium. The Science Center is also located close by in the Inner Harbor. So the Inner Harbor has a lot of things going for it, malls and a beautiful harbor, along with the pavilions, the Inner Harbor pavilions, the aquarium, and the Science Center. Fort McHenry, it was the site part of the Revolutionary War. It's where the Star Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key. It was a great battle, and Britain was supposed to win that, but Fort McHenry held, and that was great part of the American history in the Revolutionary War. Other places you might want to visit, Fort McHenry. Don't miss Fort McHenry. We have museums like the Walters Arts Museum, um, and also the Baltimore Museum of Art Museum. Visit Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins is not a beautiful, but a very historic and excellent hospital, one of the best hospitals in the world. Um, so those are some of the sites to see in terms of tour sites. Um, we have some great universities too. Johns Hopkins University, University of Maryland, College Park, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, Goucher College, Morgan State University, which is an all black college, Towson University, of which I'm a graduate. So if you want to send your college age kids to a good school, Maryland has plenty of very good universities to send them to. And that's a little bit of a primer on Maryland and Baltimore. Um, yeah, so I mean, if you plan on visiting here, there's plenty of things to do. You could go hiking. Um, just going towards Frederick, Maryland, there's a lot of great hiking out there. You can go skiing. We have Ski Round Top and Ski Liberty. Um, in the winter, there's an ice rink in the harbor, I believe. Um, and there's a lot of cultural things to do in Maryland. We had the first cathedral, Catholic cathedral in the United States, the Basilica of the National Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary in Baltimore. We have the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen in Baltimore off Charles Street. The first Catholic cathedral in Maryland. I mean, in America, the Basilica. We have a lot of things to offer to those who want to visit my great state of Maryland. So, just a little primer on things to see, sights to see in Maryland. We'll go over the nightlife in Maryland. Had a great nightlife, and the sports in Maryland. We're into the first third of the Arturo Fuente Hemingway work of art Maduro. Just a wonderful smoke full of coffee, rich tobacco, nutty tobacco, charcoal, spice. Great draw. Um, Great burn. Well, I actually had to touch it up a couple times, but now it's burning just great. Um, Body is full, flavor is full, strength is medium full, and all the flavors that I had previously mentioned. All right, we're going to head into the next break. In that break, we'll talk about the nightlife in Maryland and also flavor notes for the work of art, Maduro. All right, you guys take it easy. Catch you on the flip side. Ciao. Okay, we're back again. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? How are y'all doing out there? We're into the second third of the work of art, the Hemingway, Arturo Fuente Hemingway work of art, Maduro. Um, I'm telling you, over the break, this cigar is just wonderful. There's a reason why this is one of my all-time greats. This doesn't. This is a 3 or 4 year old cigar. Probably more. I would say 3 years plus, maybe four. And the profile for this cigar is very different from the fresh work of art Maduro that I remember. Work of art Maduro's a very classic Maduro flavor of chocolate, coffee, um, oak, and rich dark tobacco flavor. This is more powerful. Somehow it's more powerful. It's 4 years, 3 or 4 years old. I'm getting straight power from this cigar, along with a strong charcoal and uh, and a rich tobacco and spice, very spicy, um, and power. It's just very serious. It's like I reviewed an añejo, a 4-year old añejo, 4 or 5 añejo, not too long ago in one of my previous episodes, and the same thing happened. I mean, because añejos generally have that chocolate, coffee, kind of like earth and oak, and that the añejo that I reviewed had plume on it and was about 4 or 5 years old, and it was a much more serious smoke. And I would say that mirrors that, um, because before it was like more sweeter, and this is a more serious smoke, full of power. I don't know how it becomes more powerful after 4 years. And also just charcoal just was pouring off this cigar, spice and a rich tobacco flavor. And that's what I'm getting right now from this Hemingway work of art, Maduro. That was more rich tobacco flavor with charcoal and spice. Still very mature. Not too much sweetness in the cigar. And generally, añejos and work of art maduros do have a bit more sweetness. I remember, if memory serves me right. That's what I remember. So, lemon and spice and pepper and charcoal through the retrohale, just wonderful. Getting sweeter, not as sweet as a traditional Maduro work of art, but there is some more sweetness in it. But just a lot of rich tobacco flavor, just delicious. Let's go and talk about more about Maryland and nightlife. I mean, like Maryland about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, got its first casino, the Horseshoe Casino, which is located in the Inner Harbor of Baltimore. If I neglected to mention, the Inner Harbor is in Baltimore. The Horseshoe Casino is a very good place to go as part of nightlife. A lot of restaurants, casino. Kind of like a blessing, because usually before, people had to go to Atlantic City to go to a casino, or Delaware. Um, but now Baltimore has its own casino in the Horseshoe Casino. Baltimore City has a lot of areas, neighborhoods that are great for nightlife. I think the best and most well known is Fells Point. It's a historic neighborhood with cobblestone streets and like a lot of great small bars, a lot of great restaurants. Probably the pinnacle of nightlife in Baltimore is Fells Point. They have dance clubs and things like that, along with bars and everything. Canton is close by in Baltimore City, also to Fells Point. Kind of mirrors Fells Point, but in a smaller kind of like venue. A lot of great bars, a lot of great restaurants. Canton, great neighborhood for bars and restaurants. Federal Hill is also a great area for bars and restaurants. They have the Cross Street Market. Cross Street Market is a historic market in Baltimore City, full of like individual sellers. They have a lot of bars and restaurants in that area. Very good nightlife. Um, so that's pretty much and Federal Hill. That's pretty much what I know of nightlife in Baltimore City. And then you have a lot of nice clubs and bars and restaurants. In Owings Mills, which is part of Baltimore County, I believe. Owings Mills, Maryland, is north of Baltimore City, about 20 minutes away from Baltimore City. Then you have White Marsh, which is closer to Baltimore City, and they have a lot of a great number of restaurants and bars there. A lot of malls. There's malls in Owings Mills too. Towson, which is the closest city to Timonium, in which I live. Towson is about 10 minutes south of Timonium. A lot of great restaurants, a lot of great bars, a lot of great places to visit in Maryland and Baltimore. I'm most familiar with the nightlife in Baltimore, obviously, because I live in Baltimore County, Timonium in Baltimore County. Towson, I suggest if you come to Towson, Maryland, I suggest you go to the Green Turtle, um, Charles Village Pub, um, and there's another one. There's a lot of bars and restaurants in Towson. Hunt Valley, Maryland, is another little kind of like neighborhood that is north of Timonium. Have a California pizza kitchen. Um, the bar I go there to is Bar Louie. They have a Green Turtle in Hunt Valley too. A lot of great restaurants. The Hunt Valley, they have a Hunt Valley Town Center, which is an outdoor mall in Hunt Valley, which I suggest you go to. There's a Wegmans located in that Hunt Valley Town Center. Um, and so that's Hunt Valley. There's a great mall in Towson, the Towson Mall. A great. I mean, that's my favorite mall in Maryland is Towson Town Center. And so that's pretty much nightlife in the Baltimore surrounding area. Washington D.C. not quite part of Maryland, but we it's very close to Maryland. It's right on the border of Maryland. I have a lot of great nightlife in Washington D.C., including Georgetown. They have a historic tobacconist store, Georgetown Tobacco. You would want to visit there if you wanted to smoke tobacco. Georgetown Tobacco is a great historic tobacconist store. Tobacco in Baltimore, Hunt Valley, Maryland. I mean, Timonium, Maryland, Towson, Maryland is a new store called Davidas. A great store called Davidas. Davidas Tobacconist in Towson is a great thing. They have the Humidor in Timonium, and the other one that I know of is Dan's Cigar Lounge in Baltimore City. I visit all these tobacconists to pick up some tobacco. I try to support the B&Ms. I realize prices are cheaper over the internet, but I try to support my local B&Ms as much as possible. So that's pretty much nightlife in Baltimore area, surrounding area. I'm located in Timonium, Baltimore County, so I'm only familiar with like nightlife in the Baltimore surrounding area. Baltimore City, Fells Point has Fells Point, Canton, and Federal Hill. I suggest you visit those areas if you go to Baltimore. Hunt Valley, Towson, and Maryland has and Hunt Valley, Towson, and Owings Mills also has good nightlife along with restaurants. And then you have Ocean City, Maryland, which is our resort town on the eastern shore of Maryland. They have a very good nightlife as well as a lot of activities to do during the day. It's a beach resort. Beautiful area. I used to go there a lot when I was a teenager. I haven't really visited in a long time, but Ocean City, Maryland is a must see area to go to. If you have time enough on a visit to Maryland, Ocean City is great. I mean, you can make a day trip or spend a little bit longer over there. So that's the nightlife in Ocean City in Maryland. Most of the nightlife in Baltimore because that's what I'm familiar with. I'm sure there's other great parts of Maryland that have additional nightlife. So anyway, so that's the nightlife in Ocean City that I want to talk about for Maryland. This Hemingway is smoking beautifully, full draw, full strength, full flavor. Um, the power is really strong in the cigar, which is surprising because I don't remember tasting that in the young um, Maduro, Boca Maduros. Starting to get a little bit nutty and raisin. Um, all right, so here we are into the middle portion of the second third of the Arturo Fuente Hemingway work of art Maduro, with a little bit of introductory to my great state of Maryland. I'm going to head into the next break. I hope you all are doing well out there. I wish you all the best. And please take care. I'm going to head into the next break. Vaya escondidas, amigos. Okay, welcome back to the final portion and the final third of the Arturo Fuente work of art, Hemingway Maduro. Very rare smoke and one of my all-time favorites. I believe I paid like over the internet for a box. I got about $10 a stick, about $200. Um, Believe me, it's worth the price of admission. When fresh, the Hemingway work of art Maduro has a very good, strong, kind of like chocolate coffee flavor, along with oak. Um, and a bit of sweetness. This 4-year-old kind of is more serious. The flavors that I'm getting over the break were a very dark, rich, kind of like complex brownish tobacco flavor, along with charcoal and spice and power. A lot of power in this cigar. More power than when fresh. I don't know how that is, but hey, man, I just hope these kind of like age very well because I think I have like out of a box of 20 and they're like 3 or 4 years old. I have about like maybe 8 left or whatever. So maybe I'll sit on them for a while and see how they age and everything. But right now it's looking great. Spicy, spicy, dark charcoal, sweet tobacco. Um, that's what I've been getting. Just wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and pour myself some Nika whiskey from the barrel. Um, 51.4% alcohol by volume from Nika whiskey out of Japan. Very strong whiskey. Very strong for Japanese whiskey because Japanese whiskeys are generally considered like more elegant, and I think they have less fire than say a traditional whiskey. But not this whiskey. This whiskey is like is Japanese cowboy whiskey. It's very strong. I mean, 51.4% alcohol by volume is quite strong. So and it tastes like it. So you can definitely taste the alcohol in this beautiful Japanese whiskey. Awesome whiskey, beautiful whiskey. There it is. Has a nice Scotch color to it. Traditional Scotch color. Maybe a little bit darker than a traditional Scotch color. Very elegant nose. Strong caramel note. Kind of reminds me of Johnny Walker Black. Um, yeah, kind of reminds me of Johnny Walker Black Label. Very delicious, very strong. Not as elegant as the most elegant Japanese whiskey. It doesn't really remind me of a Japanese whiskey. There is elegance, but I mean, when I talk about the elegant Japanese whiskeys, I'm talking about Yoichi and Yamazaki. Tekenzero to an extent is elegant, but it's kind of like more rough around the edges than the previous two I mentioned. And the Hakushu is very elegant, very beautiful Japanese whiskey. This is not as elegant as those. It's elegant still, but more reminds me of a traditional Scotch, like a Johnny Walker Black Label, or maybe even a Glenfiddich. So, kind of nutty. Anyway, so let's talk about the rich history of Baltimore teams, Baltimore, Maryland teams. We have a rich history in sports. We can talk about the Orioles. The Orioles have a long history in Baltimore. I believe starting in the 60s or 50s. They've won three World Series, full of great players. If you want to talk about Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Jim Palmer, Mark Belanger, um, Cal Ripken Jr. Modern ones might be Adam Jones, and there are a few other ones out there. But the Orioles, like I said, have won three World Series, yeah, mostly from like the '60s to the '80s, or '70s to the '80s, and '60s to the '80s, and then like for football, the first Baltimore team was the Baltimore Colts. They won one Super Bowl. A great history of Baltimore Colts. They eventually moved to Indianapolis to be the Indianapolis Colts. But while in Baltimore, they've won like one Super Bowl. Um, and I mean, players you might know are Johnny Unitas, Burt Jones. There are a lot of great Baltimore players. Art Donovan, Artie Donovan. There's a lot of great historic Colts players, and then after the Colts left, we got the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens have won two Super Bowls, one under Coach Billick and one under Coach Harbaugh, who is the current coach. Players you might know are Ray Lewis, Jonathan Ogden, Joe Flacco. We had Antoine Bolden here for a little while. Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, um, Peter Boulware, Michael McCrary. Um, there's been a lot of great Ravens. Another historic Baltimore team, although very kind of more in the recent era. Like I said, they won two Super Bowls. And then, as far as Baltimore is concerned, in Maryland has a rich racing history with Pimlico Racecourse and Laurel Racecourse. You might all be familiar with the second jewel in the Triple Crown, being the Preakness. The Preakness is run in Baltimore City at Pimlico in the spring. The second jewel, the Triple Crown, the Preakness. I mean, Maryland has a very long history in horse racing. And I've heard rumors that the Preakness might move from this Baltimore to Laurel, Maryland, to the Laurel Racecourse. I hope that doesn't happen. The Preakness has a long history and ties to Baltimore City and Pimlico. And I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, because they're trying to allocate money to either renovate Pimlico or move it to Laurel. and I hope it stays in Pimlico and Baltimore City. Finally, we'll touch on culinary and kind of the traditional food found in Maryland. We're a southern state, but we're probably most best known for steamed blue crabs out of the Chesapeake Bay and rockfish. Rockfish is a delightful, delicious fish. We're known for great seafood, including oysters. And also, since we're a southern kind of state, we're also known for our for our fried chicken. Also, so those are that is really delicious. Some of the things that Maryland is proud of, the historical sites, the nightlife, um, the varying kind of like areas of Maryland, being it mountainous or foothills, the eastern shore, and the farmlands in the cities of Maryland, the sports of Maryland, and also the food of Maryland. So that's a little bit of an encapsulation of what you might find if you visit Maryland. Just sweet nuttiness right now from this Arturo Fuente work of art Maduro. So let me summarize my experience with this Arturo Fuente work of art, Hemingway work of art Maduro. Very strong smoke, full body, full strength, full flavor cigar. Mostly charcoal, rich, flavorful tobacco and spice is what I'm getting, and power. A very mature smoke. I'm getting nuttiness now on charcoal. The construction is A plus as far as I'm concerned. The draw has been very full, producing voluminous amounts of thick, heavy tobacco smoke. The burn's really good. It's kind of razor right now. Had to touch it up maybe a couple of times. I mean, like I said earlier, with these perfectos or figurados, it's hard to get like a really good straight burn line when you first light it. Sometimes you have to correct it just to get a burn line that it can keep during the lifetime of the cigar. So that's my summary of this Hemingway work of art Maduro. I hope you enjoyed my little kind of like kind of introductory what you can expect if you come to Maryland. Some of the things that you might want to see while you're in Maryland and experience. I hope you enjoyed that. My recommendation for this Arturo Fuente work of art Hemingway Maduro, one of my favorite smokes of all time. This particular cigar, 5 out of 5 stars. Can't recommend this cigar highly enough. I suggest you don't miss it. Great cigar. Anyway, let me close this cigar review the way I usually close my cigar reviews. For everybody in the world, I wish you all good health, good wealth, good fortune, good friends, and most importantly, family. You all take care out there. Have a good night. Bye, escondidos, amigos. Good night.